Jennifer Lopez has had a bit of a bad rep over being a diva in the industry, but what do her fellow celebrities think? Being voted the third most hated celebrity in 2017 doesn't really look good. Hey guys, I'm your host Lauren, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 celebrities that hate Jennifer Lopez. Number 10, Rihanna. Rihanna and Jennifer Lopez have been reported to have a bit of a shady side to them, and definitely aren't stars to back down from a fight. So it wasn't much of a surprise when Rihanna was pretty unhappy when J.Lo broke the girl code. Rihanna and Drake have had a long history going back to making music videos together. To that really uncomfortable time, Drake professed his love for her. The two, who started off as friends, ended up getting pretty romantic for a brief period of time, but then called it quits. Drake didn't really seem to wait around too long. Not long after that, they were rumored to have broken up. J.Lo ended up posting a photo of Drake showing up to surprise her at one of her concerts. And by the end of the month, they were pretty much confirmed to be dating. When Rihanna found out, it was safe to say that she was pretty upset. According to an insider, Rihanna viewed the whole thing as the ultimate betrayal and went on to call J.Lo a traitor, expressing how hurt she was. What puts salt in the wound a little more is that Rihanna and J.Lo were actually friends before this, and the whole situation resulted in the singer unfollowing J.Lo on Instagram. But if you think, well, it must be over now, it seems that in 2019, Rihanna was still not a Jennifer fan and ended up shading her during an interview with Vogue. When asked why she turned down the option to perform at the 2020 Super Bowl, which Jennifer ended up headlining with Shakira, she responded by saying, "I wouldn't dare do that." When referencing the former NFL star who reportedly got blacklisted from the league for his kneeling protest, she went on to say, "I just couldn't be a sellout. I couldn't be an enabler. There's things within that organization that I do not agree with at all." After being called a sellout publicly, I can't imagine these two are likely to work it out in the future. Number 9, Nicki Minaj. Let's talk about the awkward American Idol episode. After performing on the show, Nicki wanted to go sit with the judges, which included J.Lo at the time. She asked the judges, "I was hoping maybe I could come back and be a judge. J.Lo, can you scoot over a little bit?" J.Lo then replied by saying, "I don't think there's enough room for the both of us." But this didn't seem to really faze Nicki too much, and when asked about the interaction, she said, "She didn't seem to be having it. I love J.Lo and I love what she's done for pop culture, and I have nothing but respect." But at the 2015 AMAs, the drama between the two was becoming more suspected. J.Lo performs a medley of popular songs at the time, which included one of Nicki's tracks. As she was performing, the camera showed Nicki, and many were quick to comment on her unamused face. One Twitter user wrote, "J.Lo, Nicki Minaj's facial expression says it all." Even though Nicki denied throwing shade, fans were unsure. But after Nicki was spotted hanging out with Jennifer's ex-boyfriend, Casper Smart, it looks like the grudge was still in full effect. According to an insider, Jennifer wasn't too happy to be seeing these two together. However, fans believe that after years, the feud is finally over after the star was seen listening to Nicki's song in a post on her Instagram. But really, who's to say? Number 8, Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth isn't a stranger to having haters, but imagine one of those haters was Jennifer Lopez. During an interview in 1998 with Movie Line, J.Lo was pretty open about how she feels about the star. When asked about Gwyneth, J.Lo responded by saying, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she's been in. Some people get hot by association." Going on to say, "I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." What makes this whole little feud even stranger is that at the time of the interview, Gwyneth was dating J.Lo's now husband, Ben Affleck. Looks like the past is behind them more recently though, as Gwyneth commented on a picture of Ben and Jen together, writing, "Okay, this is cute. Is she being the bigger person here, and is their feud really over?" Number 7, we have Cameron Diaz. These two were rumored to really not be fans of one another on the set of What to Expect When You're Expecting. A source close to the stars said at the time that the stars were fiercely competitive with each other, going on to say they don't interact much, but when they do, the tension is thick. Cameron even reportedly called out J.Lo for being too distracted by the media and her personal life to be able to focus on work. An insider shared, "Cam sees all that stuff and the hoopla around J.Lo's divorce with Mark Anthony, and whether she's dating Rodrigo as a distraction from work." Also, Jennifer's entourage was not something Cam was on board with. A source told the media, "Cam is annoyed by Jennifer's huge entourage, which includes her mom, 3 assistants, makeup and hair people, as well as her manager." Going on to say, "How many people does it take for one woman to film a simple scene?" But allegedly, it wasn't just a one-sided feud, and J.Lo shared with her team how she was choosing to act as if Cam doesn't exist. Though they have denied there being any bad blood, it probably didn't help what J.Lo said about Cam in her 1998 interview. At the time, Jen said when discussing Cameron, "She's a lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities. I just just wish she would have done more with that. She went on to kind of dismiss the actress by saying, she's beautiful and has a great presence. Though in My Best Friend's Wedding, I thought, when directed, she can be good. Number 6, Jennifer Garner. With Jennifer being Ben Affleck's former wife and mother of his children, many wondered what her true thoughts were about Jennifer Lopez. The former couple, who was married for 13 years, claim that they are now friends as they co-parent their children. But Jennifer seems to have a gear to grind. During an interview, Garner shares how she has been working hard to not look at any of the news regarding her and her now ex-husband. She said, I work hard to not see either of us in the press. It doesn't make me feel good, even if it's something nice about one of us. She went on to add, I don't need to see anyone in my family made into a meme. After she was asked if she had seen the Ben Affleck memes, she replied by saying no, but admitting that he is quite meme-worthy. This didn't sit well at all with J-Lo, and an insider shared, it's Jennifer's way of saying Ben looks miserable and all his appearances in public are lame. How could J-Lo not take it personally? Adding that the comments made were a big F you to J-Lo. The source further revealed the star's feelings, saying part of her wants to fire back and tell Jennifer off, but she's smart enough not to make too much of a scene publicly, so it'll be up to Ben to be the referee. Some fans believe this feud between the Jennifers was a long time coming, but what do you guys think? Number 5, Madonna. Another incident of J-Lo slamming her fellow celebrities in the Movie Line interview in 1998 is when she bashed Madonna's acting. When asked about Madonna, she allegedly responded by saying, do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. And I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft. Looks like all these comments got back to Madonna, and her brother confirmed her thoughts at the time in his memoir, Life with My Sister Madonna. He said, I flashed back to a recent newspaper article and remember that Gwyneth and Madonna were feuding with J-Lo because she was quoted by a journalist as saying Madonna couldn't sing and Gwyneth couldn't act. Most unwise. He went on to say, everyone with the exception of Donatella and me gives J-Lo the cold shoulder. Fortunately, no confrontation ensued. By 2001, J-Lo finally talked about the infamous Movie Line interview while speaking to Vanity Fair. She said at the time, I was so misquoted and so taken out of context, and it's a sore subject for me. Continuing by saying, I don't like to hurt anybody. I don't like to hurt their feelings. I like to joke, so I do that sometimes. What I wrote in that article hurt people, and I just sat down and cried for hours. Number 4, Mariah Carey. This is a feud that dates back to the 90s and have both denied that there's any bad blood, but that really doesn't seem to be the truth. Allegedly, the beginning to this long fight began because of Mariah's ex-husband Tommy. In her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, she explained how it was working on the single Loverboy, when she obtained a sample from the Yellow Magic Orchestra's song what she was going to use for her single. But it seems like Tommy, who was the head of Sony Music, was a bit bitter over the divorce and had other plans. Mariah wrote in her memoir saying, after hearing my new song using the same sample I used, Sony rushed to make a single for another female entertainer on their label. But even after Mariah continued telling fans and interviewers that she didn't know J-Lo, it wasn't hard to figure out that this is who she was referring to. It really only went downhill from here though, and during a 2002 interview, Mariah threw more shade J-Lo's way. When asked about her feud with J-Lo, she responded by saying, there are rivalries, but I don't think she has anything to do with me. My whole thing is singing, songwriting, and I've been doing this my whole life. Singing is my first and foremost. It's a God-given talent that I'm grateful for. Her thing is something different. Of course, J-Lo was aware of what was being said about her in the public, and during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, she ended up giving her side of the story. When asked about Mariah, she responded by saying, I don't have a feud against her at all. I know from back in the day I've read things that she said about me and they're not the greatest. She continued by saying, but we have never met, we don't know each other. I think it's from word of mouth of things that have happened in the past. A wild part about this ongoing feud is that they still have never spoke to each other face to face. Number 3, Rosie Perez. These two stars met during an open casting call for the 1991 for the show's Fly Girl dancers. Rosie has claimed that she was the one who convinced the show's host and creator to pick Jen for the role, claiming that they originally thought she was chubby and corny, but Rosie explains that she was the one that saw something special in her. When J-Lo got the role, reportedly she found it very difficult to break into the dancer community with the others on the show. Rosie wrote about this time in her memoir and said, all the girls were coming into my office office, complaining how she was manipulating wardrobe, makeup, and me all to her advantage, suggesting that J-Lo thought the other girls were jealous of her. She went on to reveal that J-Lo was quick to drop her nice girl act and would go off on Rosie, saying she's like some ghetto bee, screaming and punching her chest. Though Rosie claims that they're all good now and it's in the past, some believe it's more of a frenemy situation at the end of the day. Number 2. Howard Stern. Howard Stern hasn't been too shy to share his opinion on Jennifer Lopez and her music on his radio show. Back in 2021, Howard played J-Lo's hit song On the Floor, and after listening to the beat, he immediately started laughing. As he watched the music video, he shared that he thought it was clear that J-Lo was doing everything possible to show herself off. Jokingly questioning, "This is a hit somewhere?" He continued on by making fun of the beat, saying, "That's the sound of me banging my head against the wall in time to the music." Not only this, but he was also critical over J-Lo being a judge for American Idol. When asked about it during a red carpet interview, he said, "I was critical of J-Lo because I felt like she's never said anything negative, let's say. And I felt like, well, it helped her career. She got very far." Howard has continued on by making it pretty known to his viewers how he feels about the star, so I can't imagine she'll ever make an appearance on his show. And at number 1, we have Salma Hayek. Back in 1991, J-Lo really got her claim to fame when she started the movie Selena by playing the late musician Selena Perez. But it has been reported that she wasn't actually the first pick for the role. During an interview with Selma, she revealed that she was actually the first pick for the role by Selena's father, but she declined, saying it was a bit distasteful. They were already planning on making this movie. But even though Selma claimed that J-Lo played the role very well, the feeling was not mutual at all, and Selma found herself victim to the singer's movie line interview. During the interview, where she took down a few of her other female celebrities, J-Lo said when talking about Selma, "We're in different realms. She's a sexy bombshell and I do all kinds of different things," even stating that Selma's claim that the role was originally hers was an outright lie. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Let us know in the comments what you think of Jennifer Lopez. Mean girl or misunderstood? And we'll see you in the next one.